ako ng konti sa YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, now. Okay, sana okay ang ating stream health. And then now going live on Facebook. Share lang muna natin siguro, teka. After.
Sige.
Facebook. Sa Facebook kasi may iba't iba pang steps eh. What's up, YouTube? This is the Powerful Comics Man podcast, and I am with a very special guest that I've been looking forward to having on the show, Mr. Reb Atadero, and we're gonna find a lot more about him later. Okay, sige, let me just finish setting up the stream on Facebook. Going live now. Okay, let's wait for the notification. Dapat pala podcast starting soon, hindi pala stream. Kasi nag-i-stream na eh. Mali ako eh.
It's here. It's right here.
Okay, alright. Podcast starting soon pala. I-edit natin real time. Okay. Alright. So, let's see if we have it now. You don't hear the background music?
No, I don't.
Oh, sayang. Ayun, alright. Thanks for sharing. So, to everybody who's watching, please share the stream as well. I am with the powerful Reb Atadero.
Wow. Powerful.
Yes. And like I said, I've been looking forward to this episode. I'm really loving his TikTok content. So if you ever think that TikTok is just for alam mo yun, mga kasabawan and mga nagsasayawan ng mga boobies, girls dancing girls. No, it's not. There's a lot more in TikTok that you can find, and alam mo yun, you just have to take a little bit of an effort to look for, 'di ba?
Yeah. I learned a lot. Well, that's actually the reason why I started doing it. You know, I started doing it because I learned a lot from watching videos there, like what to cook this, you know, or like how to cook, or like how to properly clean something, or you know, just things that you can nerd out on. It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. So it's very powerful act.
Yeah. So let's just do our OBB before we officially continue, and then rock and roll na after. Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Powerful Comics Man podcast. Yo. Okay, so good
It's a
afternoon.
great OBV.
Good afternoon. Thank you. So I've been thinking of updating that OBB for some time now, pero okay pa naman siya. But again, good afternoon to everybody. This is the Powerful Comics Man podcast, and I am with the very powerful Reb Atadero. All right, what's up, Reb?
Hello, Gerald. Wow, I've never been called powerful ever in my life, so I feel empowered. Thank you, Gerald. Thank you.
To everybody, Reb is an actor. Okay, alam mo actually, like probably most people, I have known about you because of Ang Huling El Bimbo, 'di ba?
Yeah.
When it was shown on YouTube during the
Mm-mm.
pandemic, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So you starred in Huling El Bimbo, but I really became a fan of him when I started seeing him on TikTok.
Cool.
'Di
Thank
ba?
you.
So
Thank you, sir.
I'm really loving the content that you do there, being somebody who also tries to, alam mo yun, to make an effort to create content that's a little bit more deep and alam mo yan, hindi takot maging maging seryoso paminsan-minsan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
still try to be entertaining, 'di
Yeah.
ba? 'Di ba?
Mm.
I don't even know where to start. So maybe we can start on on you being an actor first, 'di ba?
Right. The funny thing is a lot of the things that I do, right,
Mhm.
on TikTok or social media, I get from the discipline I learned as an actor. I'm a theater actor, so my training is different.
Mhm.
It's the schedules are very very different. I go to rehearsals every single day, and then you rehearse and do the same thing over and over and over again until you get it show ready, right? And then when
Mhm.
you once you're doing the show already, that's the gift that you have for the audience, right? So you work on something over and over again, paulit-ulit. You continue
Mhm.
chipping away at it, tuloy-tuloy lang hanggang sa one day you're done, you're ready, right? And then
Mhm.
move on to the next one and then repeat the process over and over again. That's the same mentality that I have with creating content. It's a process that I have to do over and over again to get better and better at it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I started doing this also at a very early, not very early compared to other people, but
Mhm.
I started acting at 17.
17. Okay.
Yeah, I started acting at 17, and it's been quite a ride. It's been fun. I've been doing it for almost half my life now. So and I started it on a dare. Yes, I did.
Really? How? Tell us about that
Uh,
there.
okay, so I was in college, and there's recruitment week para sa mga org sa school,
Mhm.
sa college. And then I was told, it's looking at all the booths, right?
Mhm.
I was a sophomore, and my friend was like, I dare you to sign up. And I go, yeah, okay, but what the hell is this?
Which
And
college is
then
this again? Sorry.
Ateneo, I went to
Ateneo,
Ateneo.
Ateneo.
I was like, what the hell is this? And then he goes, you sing. I know you sing. So yeah, just do it. It's called musical theater. I literally just took 3 seconds to look at him and go, okay. So I did. I signed up, and the rest is history. I fell in love with it. So
Yeah. So
that's it.
so you've always been a performer all your life.
Yeah, I've always been in front of a crowd for
Mhm.
more than half my life now. So yeah, but early on, the beginnings of my life, I was very very shy. You couldn't get me to sing or talk in front of people. So it's a it's a development that happened later on. When I gained confidence.
Do you
Yeah.
have a pivotal moment in your life? Kasi ako I was also a very shy kid. And then
Mm.
some when I was in third year high school, I became part of the band of a high school band. And then
It's pretty much it for me too.
oo nga eh. And then after
Yeah.
it, alam mo yun, yung kwento ko is before the set, kasi tutugtog na kami, it was
Mm.
the freshman orientation thing eh. Tapos
Yeah.
when the intro is playing, 'di ba? Alam mo yun, talagang nanginginig ako eh. Alam mo yun, parang
Yeah. Yeah.
di ko alam kasi
Yeah. Yeah.
I was also somewhat parang there din lang, parang wala na kasi kasi yung vocalist nila was nag-graduate na, 'di ba? He
Mm.
graduated. So ako yung
Yeah.
papalit, 'di ba? So
Yeah.
ngayon, parang wow. Ngayon, nangyari after the first line, after I sang the first line of the song, alam mo, I literally felt something na parang yung kilabot from my
Yeah.
toe pataas. It's
Yeah.
like a veil being lifted and then
Yes.
voila!
No, I get it.
Diba? Do you have
100%
something
will
like
to learn was wag na lang kaya on guitar.
ah,
Through faith, right? And I was like, okay, so this is fun. And then one day, I'll never forget that I was in third year high school. I was 15 years old, and my AP teacher, my CBK teacher, well, AP na nun, my
mhm,
Araling Panlipunan teacher said, "Balita ako tumutugtog ka tsaka kumakanta ka." And she made me sing in front of class,
talaga.
right? And I something just happened. I just said yes for some
Mhm.
reason, and I sang. Fun fact: I just won the Araling Panlipunan Quiz Bee earlier that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I went to class, hapon yung period namin ng AP eh. And sabi sa akin, sige, I want to parinig naman ng talent mo. I'm like, okay. So I remember singing Jason Mraz's The Remedy.
Dal
That's what I sang in front of everybody. And that's, yun na nga, it's like all the nervousness, of course, it's still there, but it was
mm.
bringing me somewhere. And throughout my entire career, that nervousness has been a friend of mine, actually. So, it's that nervous energy is something that I've been able to harness and use for, other performances. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you officially get into theater as in the
Auditions.
real theater?
Yeah, it started, nga, the dare started, but I started performing professionally 2 years later in 2008, and I got my first professional acting job playing one of the five boys in this play called Altar Boys. Yeah, so yeah, that was my debut in terms of professional Philippine theater. And that's how it started, and thankfully, it's been going on since. So yeah.
Yeah. Um tell us about ang huling El Bimbo pala.
Yeah, yeah.
How did you get in that production and
Right.
because
So I
I sorry kasi
mm.
I
No,
think
no,
this
no,
is
sige.
kasi I think this is uh, probably one of the most popular na
Yeah.
talagang alam ng mga tao in
Mm.
the mainstream, 'di ba? Parang
Yeah.
most plays kasi parang di naman
Yeah, no,
'di
I
ba
get you.
hindi
Yeah.
alam, 'di ba?
So,
So
yeah.
ang huling El Bimbo is one. Parang mas alam pa nga natin yung yung mga productions from abroad like Miss Saigon,
Absolutely.
'di ba? Kasi
Yes, yes.
syempre we have actors playing uh parts in those productions.
Mm.
Pero yung
Mm.
locally made, so you are part of it. So how can you tell us about that project?
That will forever be a blessing for me, because that's the most successful thing that I've ever been a part of so far, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Uh it sobrang tama ka eh. We
Mm-hmm.
barely know a lot of original Filipino material, especially when it comes to theater, like mainstream success. And we were blessed enough to have the discography of the Eraserheads, and to be able to use that discography to create this story. How I got in, and I always have some
Okay.
really weird pivotal stories in my life when it comes to like the milestones. I was doing a production also with the same company, Resorts World. I was doing a production called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang a year before, 2017. Um, and one afternoon, they asked, "You guys want to read a script? We're trying to develop the next show." And I'm like, okay, sure, of course. I said yes. And then I found out it was Eraser. It's like, oh my God, yeah, I want to do this. So thankfully, I was able to read it. And then, it went on the shelf for maybe like 3 months. And then they asked me to read again. They asked me and a couple of other people to read. So we were invited to read. And as
By
it turns
read,
out,
what does it mean to read?
to read, you are given the script, and
Okay.
then you do the scenes, you read the play, you read through the
Together, right?
play,
Parang
as yeah, a certain
you were in
yes,
a round table and then
yes,
the
yes,
round
a
table.
table read, that's
Yeah.
what it's called, a table read. So we were reading, and I read for the part of Hector,
Mm-hmm.
and one more reading after that, it became the reading audition na. Right. Because the thing is, the people in that room, lahat ng nag-audition sa kwartong yun, they were already familiar with those people because,
Mm-hmm.
we were already working in the same industry and things like that. So the lead characters, they were very, very specific kung ano yung gusto nilang look, kung ano yung gusto nilang vibe. So yeah, after that reading audition, and this is where the pivotal moment is, the day I ended my 6 year long relationship is the same day that I got the role. So literally one door closes and a window opens.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a pivotal moment over a pivotal moment over a pivotal moment. So that's how I got the role. I got the call after that. And yeah, I got to do Ang Huling El Bimbo. And like you said, the commercial success that we owe to of course, the creators of the show and
Mm-hmm.
the brilliant discography of the Eraserheads.
Yeah.
So it's a once in a lifetime ride that I will forever enjoy.
Yeah, that's actually uh one thing about the Huling El Bimbo kasi is
Yeah.
uh, I don't know, yung spoiler siguro, may spoiler alert siguro konti. Uh, Kasi I really loved it, and the best thing about Huling El Bimbo is yung emotions na naramdaman ko while watching. Although
Oh,
I would have to say, diba, parang yung criticism ko doon is I wasn't really happy with the ending. 'Di ba? How
yeah,
it ended, 'di ba?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Pero the brilliant part nung Huling El Bimbo kasi the first half is like, wow, it's so elating, 'di ba? You hear the soundtrack of your
yeah.
life basically,
Yes,
and
yes,
then you see a lot of optimism and
yeah,
'di ba, optimism and parang, well, being in college, 'di ba?
yeah,
Parang feeling taking you back, especially in
yep,
people from my generation. Those are my college and high school days. And
yep.
then dun right before, dun sa gitna, 'di ba? Biglang merong isang malupit na twist. Na parang, wow, what? Where the hell did that come from? 'Di ba?
Yeah,
Ganun yung ano
yeah.
eh. So ngayon, and then black, kasi dun sa mga hindi nanonood ng mga play, merong parang magpapahinga muna, 'di ba? After
Intermission. Yeah,
intermission.
intermission. Yeah,
So that's what it's called. So after that parang yung intermission nga, you don't know what's gonna happen eh, 'di ba? You don't know what's gonna happen. Kumbaga parang you were taken, parang ang saya-saya mo, and then bigla kang sinapak tapos knockout ka, 'di
yeah,
ba?
yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
may siguro, without giving way too much of the story, is parang ang pinakang di ko nagustuhan siguro dun sa ending is it never the you guys you
Yeah, yeah. No,
you did,
I'm
yeah, you didn't
I'm
get
with you.
the ano eh, you didn't get what would you call it, the parang basically you didn't parang hindi masyadong na-redeem yung character, parang
Yeah.
ganun, and you didn't walang come-uppance.
Yes.
That's the word siguro. No
Yeah.
come-uppance
And
for the
that's the statement that it's trying to make as well.
really.
That in life there are so many things that are unresolved, right? And those are the things that happen. Like there are a lot of things that happen out there, in society
Mhm.
that wala, 'di ba?
Oo nga eh.
Wala pa rin. Wala pa rin. That's the statement that it's trying to make, that
Mhm.
na parang ang tanga, ang duwag, may kwento rin 'yan. 'Di ba?
Oh.
It's also part of society. It's
Mhm.
the ugly part of society. It's that mirror that it holds up to society, so that we can look at it and think, what can we do so that this doesn't happen again? And it's yeah, exactly. That's
'Di ba?
exactly what it's trying to say.
Actually, so you think it's from the get-go, it's that the parang intention of the writer and the creators?
When we were creating the show, we were all pretty much involved in it. The actors were very involved in creating the characters as well. So yeah, when we were developing the show, that's the thing. It's catharsis by way of catharsis by way of catharting with those who are left.
Ah, I
That's
see.
it. It's the ones we leave behind,
So
right? And what
so
we can salvage. Yes.
I see. So parang you have that in mind when you were playing the parts, na parang this
Yeah,
is.
of course.
Mhm.
Yeah. When we were creating the characters, of course we couldn't judge the characters. You
Mhm.
know, that's a no in acting. You can't judge your character as you're portraying your character, because if you do, that would be suicide, diba? You'd already be judging the character, which means you'll play him evil, or you'll play him like an asshole, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you evil people don't think they're evil. Assholes don't think they're assholes. So it should be an involved process where you really take in, right, yung kung ano man yung iniisip ng taong yun, kung ano man yung motivations niya. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's precisely what we had to do.
I lost my camera.
Oh yeah, you did.
Oo nga. Teka. Medyo ginalaw ko kasi eh. Okay. So,
Yeah, it's all right.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Don't worry
Teka.
about it.
Let me just see if I can fix it real quick. Oh man, hassle to ah. Okay, I'll try
Don't
to fix it
worry.
as we go. Okay, so um what else about Huling El Bimbo? Siguro let's leave it at that. Let's just leave the people to watch it. Kasi ngayon may bagong ano eh, may bagong they're
Yes.
looking for new
Yeah.
talents. I saw
It's
a
coming
post,
back. Yeah, it's
'di
coming back next year. It's coming back next year, and they have auditions. So there, if you go to Full House Theater Manila, or Newport World Resorts, which is the new name of Resorts World Manila, Newport World Resorts. If
Mhm.
you go to their site, if their page on Facebook, the audition announcement is there. So if you want to audition for Ang Huling El Bimbo 2023, I highly suggest you do it. It's being in that show is life changing. The process that you have to go through to be able to come up with it, yeah, that's a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah. So would you have any tips to other actors, 'di ba? Pero
Oh man, prepare. I mean, for your audition, of course, you gotta know
mhm.
your songs. You gotta prepare yourself to dance. Okay, that's a
Yeah,
very
oo nga
big
'no.
part of the show is dancing, and most importantly, uh, open yourself. Be open to these experiences that you're about to experience, right? And these issues that you're about to tackle. So it's about having an open mind and developing empathy as you go through the process.
Oh, I see. How about
Yeah.
siguro isa pang question about
Yeah.
related to that is
Mm-hmm.
um after Huling El Bimbo, after the success, we had yung sa AGs, 'di ba? Ay, nauna pala yung Rock of
Nauna
AGs,
yun.
no?
Yeah,
Nauna
nauna ang rock.
ron. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, nauna yung
Nauna
Rock
yung
of
rock.
AGs.
Yeah.
And then now parang Wolfgang ata, 'di ba? Is also having
I
the
think,
same.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
they're writing something, which is it's very exciting. It's a very exciting time, especially the whole jukebox musical concept, right? It's being explored by a lot of different creators. It's exciting. For me, the more Filipino content that's out there, the better. So yeah.
Yeah. I suppose, 'di ba? Kasi
Yeah.
I suppose that's fine, 'di ba? Maganda naman
Yeah.
it will all depend at the end of the day, it will all depend on the story and the execution,
Yep.
which I think is the Filipinos are quite kasi napanood ko yung iba ang mga napapanood ko lang na play kasi admittedly I'm not really a theater person, 'di ba?
And that's
But
fine. Don't
yeah,
worry. That's
but
okay.
but I have friends dati sa Dulaang UP and nakakanood ako
Oh,
dun
the UP.
before,
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
So the
Mm.
UP. So yung mga productions doon, although not as grand, 'di ba? Ang
Yeah.
pinaka grand na production na napanood ko siguro talaga is was what you call this, yung Lion King when they came here, 'di ba?
Oh,
'Di ba? So,
yeah. Iyakan yun.
kasi
Iyakan.
when I saw the Lion King video on YouTube before, it's parang wow, ang ganda naman ito, 'di ba? Parang
Yeah.
when they came over, parang I really made it a point to watch it.
Yeah.
'Di ba? Parang
Yeah.
I want to experience. Yun nga lang,
Yeah.
nando kami sa taas kasi ang mahal ng tickets eh. So hindi
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so so hindi mo
That's okay. Ganun
yung
din ako.
yeah. So
Yeah.
'di ba kasi yung entrance scene nun, yung nung Lion
Yeah.
King was
Yeah. Yeah.
really something else.
Oh,
Wow,
it's the
this is,
best. It's the
'di
best
ba?
opening of anything.
'Di
A
ba?
movie or musical. It's
Yeah.
just the best opening. No question.
Yeah,
It's
so
hands down. Circle of Life.
yes. Ang ganda. Basta, pero nung nandun ka sa taas, ay, ang liit na lang. but still, but still, it was still an amazing experience for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to to TikTok naman kasi actually
Mm.
yun talaga yung pinakang yung mga pinag-uusapan mo doon. Those are the really things that I also talk about, 'di ba?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
with my guest, although kasi hindi
Mm.
I tried doing this podcast solo before, and then I immediately
Mm.
found I wasn't that interesting alone. 'Di ba? Sabi ko,
Grabe naman.
well, at least back then. Kasi siguro ngayon
Yeah.
I'd be a little bit more interesting. I'd give myself that naman. Pero back
Yeah.
then, back in mga 4 years ago, parang
Yeah.
I wasn't masyado pa akong hilaw. So what I did was kasi ang template ko talaga before was yung kay Joe Rogan experience yung may kausap
Mm.
ka, 'di ba?
Mm.
May
Mm.
kausap
Mm.
and
Yeah.
yung mga kausap mo would be different kinds of people from
Yeah.
different
May kabatuhan
disciplines.
ka.
Oo,
Yeah.
ganun.
Yeah.
So I can do that. I can do that. So that's what I went for.
Nice.
Yun. And my ideal guest would be people like you, mga intellectuals, 'di ba?
Wow.
And
Thank you.
yes, well, actually nagulat din ako when the first time I was called that, 'di ba? Parang 'di ba? And the person
Same
who
here.
the same person who told me that I was an intellectual was Professor Xiao Chua. 'Di ba?
Wow.
Diba sabi,
That's
ha?
awesome.
Intellectual pala ako? Well, kasi parang we are doing this, and I'm not saying it to grandstand or parang lift my own chair or anything. It's just that it made me realize that you can be, an intellectual wi- without being, kasi intellectual is sometimes parang
You have to be a
relate siya
scholar or
to
something.
or to elitism
Yeah.
'di ba? That
Yeah.
you can
Oo. Oo.
you can intellectualize things without
Mm.
even having to go to universities and earn diplomas for it. 'Di ba?
Yeah. As long as you're willing to, they did that during Greek times.
Mhm.
You know, people would just listen to these philosophers talk on the street,
Mhm.
right? And open their minds to it. As long as you're willing to listen, and as long as you have your ego in check, you can learn forever and ever and ever. Amen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yun yung
Yeah.
yung ego in check. That's what's
Yeah.
important. Parang what's it called? Um Socratic Socratic method. 'Di ba?
Yeah. You
Parang
know, it's about being able to say I don't know.
yes, that's the Socratic
And
method, 'di ba?
yep, being able to admit that you don't know everything. You don't know anything. Always assume that you don't know anything.
Yeah,
That's the idea.
that's the starting point, I think, of learning, 'di ba? When you can
Absolutely.
say that you don't know, 'di ba?
Yep.
And
Yep.
when you say you don't know, you're always correct, 'di ba? Kasi
Yeah.
di ko
Exactly.
talaga alam eh, 'di ba?
Yep.
That's
Totoo yan. True wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. That's
yes, yes.
yes.
So it,
I subscribe to that.
that's what they said about kaya daw laging panalo sa debate si Socrates or Plato
Oh yeah.
is
Yeah.
because pag hindi niya alam, aaminin niya while
Yeah.
his opponent would keep claiming things na hindi naman talaga niya sure. So
And it's always questions, questions, questions. You know,
yes.
you make them question their assumptions.
Yes.
That's the idea.
Well, there's nothing wrong about pursuing and assuming things naman, 'di ba? But
Mm.
there would also come a time that you need to admit na maybe hindi ko talaga
Yeah.
alam, 'di ba? Which
Yeah,
is
it's
fine.
healthy. It's healthy to question your assumptions. It's healthy to question your worldview sometimes. It's very healthy. You know, to be skeptical. Not cynical, that's different. To be
Yes.
to be to
What?
be skeptical, 'di ba? Parang kasi skeptical, if you're skeptical about something, 'di ba? You're wondering bakit ba ganito? Bakit ba ganyan? For example. And then you research on it, and then you
Mhm.
find material on it, and then you can actually say that, okay, I was proven wrong. If you're cynical, no matter what the evidence is, you're gonna keep saying you're right.
Oo
So
nga 'di ba?
that's the difference. So it's healthy to be skeptical from time to time.
Yeah.
Actually, no, all. especially with today's with how today's information is spread, 'di ba? We always have to keep an eye on our biases.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me just try to fix my camera real quick, ha?
No problem.
Guys, let
Go
me just
ahead.
parang nangihinayang kasi ako that I do not have the camera. Let me
It's
just
alright. Don't worry about it.
fix it real quick on Discord for some reason kasi I bought this fancy camera and yun nga lang it's too early. I got it from yun. Ayan, okay. I got it from a Kickstarter
Oh, I
thing,
see.
'di
What
ba?
camera is it?
The Lumina something, Lumina. O yan,
I
wala
see.
na
I see.
naman. So it's
There you go.
I got it. All right.
No, I can see you. I saw your sample because I'm looking at your Discord,
Okay.
but it's not broadcasting. Like your
Yeah.
camera is not
Let me
broadcasting.
try again. Test video. Okay.
Dadasalan natin yan. Dadasalan natin yan.
Nakakainis eh, 'di
We
ba?
are going to call on the gods of technology.
The gods of podcasting. Podcasting
Eh,
gods.
yes, and Discord, the gods of Discord. Yan, I can see
Oh,
your face.
kailangan
There you
natin
go.
ng tawag dito.
Bas. We need
Oh,
a
human sacrifice.
yes, exactly that.
Let's
Lumina camera. That's what
yes,
it's
Lumina
called.
camera.
Yeah.
It's still not working, man. Teka, I'm pag umalis ako dito, ano mangyayari? Teka.
I think mag-end yung live.
Oo nga, no?
If,
Teka.
uh,
Let me just try this once again.
I can
Preview camera. Okay.
entertain people. I can juggle if you want. Yeah. No, I
Turn
can't.
on
I can't
camera. Okay.
juggle.
Yun. I got it.
You got it.
We're
There
back.
you go.
We're back. Okay,
We're back. We're back
let,
in business.
let's resume. the Uy, pumunta dito sa kabila.
Yeah.
I
There
have
you
to,
go.
I have to kasi. Kaya nakakahinayang eh, 'di ba? Sa ano ba 'yan?
Right.
Parang palpak yung ginawa kasi I have guest nga in the studio. So, okay na rin. Anyway, we are back. So, it's you mentioned kanina that parang TikTok has become a battleground, 'di ba? Of
Absolutely.
ideas, 'di ba?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely. Ideas and now ideologies. It's oh my god. It's actually quite fascinating and at the same time terrifying how it has become a battleground. You have people who claim to know something, and if some people don't agree with it, and out comes the demons that are within. It's just a battle of, I know better than you and you're an idiot, and it's very frustrating. I'll be honest with you, it's very
Mhm.
frustrating. But also the reason why I do it is for kahit isang comment lang out of those millions or thousands of comments that you see on TikTok, if there's like one comment that's for me and they're saying thank you that they learned something new, that's why I do it.
Yeah.
That's the mission that I have anyway. That's what I wanted to do when I started it.
What do you think about ang isang nakikita ko kasing problema in especially in our
Mm.
society is yung actually nabanggit ko na nga kanina parang na, even people who are in the position to yung mga celebrities natin, sometimes yung mga even those who people think na parang matalino tong taong to, 'di ba? Parang they're
Mhm.
so I would call even di ko alam if they're afraid or just really hesitant na parang every good idea gets dumbed down a little bit para parang they have this notion, at least to me ganun ang dating sa akin, na parang you'll have to dumb things down a little bit para
Yeah.
to para tawag dito magbigay ka ng to talk about something
Yeah.
na
For the idea
hindi
to come
naman
across. Yeah.
hindi naman dapat
Yeah.
hindi naman dapat i-dumb down kasi
Right.
iba 'di ba? When you do it.
Right. And I get that, I totally get that. But then, I also have to embrace the fact, as a content creator, I also have to embrace the fact that I also have to speak the audience's language.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's a matter of compromising with that. Without compromising, of course, the intellectual integrity of kung ano
Mm-hmm.
man yung gusto mong gawin, 'di ba? So ang philosophy ko diyan is, halimbawa, there's something that is very, for example, malaki yung distance between comprehension and language, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to be able to, halimbawa, you can't just use highfalutin words, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
But you can use words that explain the same thing, kahit na minsan mas maraming words or tatagalugin mo para makuha yung concept, 'di ba? So it's not really dumbing it down for me. It's just speaking the language that might aid in understanding, 'di ba? But the concepts are still Socrates, the concepts
Yeah.
are still World War II. So it's a matter of give and take, 'di
Yeah.
ba? And this is my favorite part, when
Mm-hmm.
somebody doesn't understand something, for
Mm-hmm.
example, they ask.
Oo nga.
They ask, and that's my favorite thing, because ang dahilan naman kung bakit ako nag-start is to spark curiosity, to spark questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's precisely it, because I want people to start thinking for themselves
Mm-mm.
and to start thinking in general,
Yep.
'di ba? So when they ask questions and I provoke that question through my content,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good day in the office. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Well,
how I see it.
I think there's a difference naman in dumbing down and also being entertaining, putting an effort
Yes,
to make it
yes,
entertaining, 'di ba? Magkaiba naman 'yan.
absolutely.
We can be entertaining without, kasi minsan lalagyan mo ng jokes na yung nakikita ko, kasi parang lalagyan nila ng jokes na I can't come up with an example right now, but I see it most of the time. And sometimes babarahin ka ng
Oo.
makikita mo dati sa sa mga live talk shows dati. I remember a host before na parang meron siyang intellectual take, showbiz talk show to nung uso pa yung mga
Yeah.
showbiz talk
Mm.
show. May intellectual take si Boy Abunda, 'di ba? Ang ganda ng punto niya eh. And then
Mm.
yung kasama niya, hindi ko na maalala kung sino, biglang what? Alam mo yun, parang teka, nagsasalita ng mayroong punto na maganda si ano 'di ba? And it was so parang too smart
Yep.
for that situation. Hindi this show is not that smart, parang ganun. Either
Yeah.
either hindi niya naintindihan talaga, or alam mo yun, I don't know. So
It, it's all about not making it about you.
no.
You are the presenter, but
Mhm.
you are not the complete topic. That's what you have to marry. That yun yung timpla na tinatawag,
Mhm.
'di ba? For example, if you want to be entertaining, you can be entertaining without being offensive. For
Yes.
example, you can be entertaining while educating.
Mhm.
And how do you do that? You put, for example, me, I put on an accent, or I put on a really dumb headband,
Mhm.
but still, these things are all about timpla,
Mhm.
because at the end, your antics cannot go in front of the message that you're trying to say,
Yeah.
diba?
So
So yeah.
parang ano yun, what is your process to when you go doing this videos? You said headbands so everything how you look is pre-planned, or alam mo yun, at least thought
Well,
about ganon?
the educational videos, I don't think about it that much. But
Mhm.
the videos that I do, for example, na may mga collaboration, and then I have to do a skit, yun, mga pinag-iisipan ko yun. Or sometimes it's just a spur of the moment thing. It's a most of the time, if it's the content that's educational, I write it down. I write down
Oh.
I write down everything. But when it's, for example, I have a script,
Mhm.
right, or something like that, I still ad lib a lot. Especially when the moment calls for it. The parang I say a word, and then immediately I think of, hey, that sounds like a funny word. So I'll make a joke about it. I'll
Mhm.
make a pun out of it. So that it's the creative process, hindi siya tali.
Mhm.
Kahit na meron kang template, you can still play around with it. So it's yeah, that's what I do when I create content.
What do you think hooked up your audience to your content siguro? Mga ganun.
That's a great question.
'Di ba?
Okay. So how I started kasi, the reason why I started TikTok is
Mhm.
this. Again, I was being dared. Okay, I was being
Mhm.
dared. Do TikTok, do TikTok. And I go, I don't dance. Right? It's the first thing I said. Di ako sumasayaw. Okay, I
Yes, you
can
do.
when I can when I want to, but
Okay.
you know, I don't, di ba? I don't do it to I don't ever see myself doing that. Not
Okay.
that that's degrading for me. It's just that
Mhm.
it's not me. You know, I
Okay.
don't I don't see, di ba? I don't think that's degrading. It's people are just having fun.
Yeah.
It's just not me, right?
Mhm.
So that's what I was saying. So, um, because of that whole thing, I looked at TikTok for fun, and then I saw a video of a person singing, and then there's another person singing. So it's a duet video. So I was like, I can do that. Right now
Mhm.
that I'm in the middle of the pandemic and I'm not doing anything creative, I don't have a creative outlet. Maybe I can do that. So that's how I started. And then one day I was also doing live streams back then. One day I was doing live, and most of my audience, along with my fiance, students sila. And I asked them, so how's school? And ito yung kalagitnaan ng modules, di ba? How's school? And every single time I ask it, everybody just goes, I'm so sick of it. I'm done.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not learning anything. Sayang lang yung binabayad.
Yeah.
And that's when it happened in my head. What if I'm a nerd? So what if I used my presentation skills that I picked up from years of performing and hosting and
Yeah.
motivational speaking? What if I use those skills to make learning fun again? Make
Yes.
learning fun because it's only for the sake of learning. It's not for a grade, it's not to impress anybody. It's really just, hey, did you know?
Mhm.
Just that. And have people pick up new knowledge in that day or that minute in within 5 minutes at the most, diba? If I could do that, and somehow that adds value to somebody's day or somebody's life, then that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's how it came about.
Yeah, so that's why I also liked you kasi I think you are a unique individual who one has the training to communicate the ideas, the stories in a creative way, and you also have the innate interest and knowledge, 'di ba? 'Di ba kasi
Yeah, yeah,
'di ba so kasi you can't be effective if you kung kulang
yeah.
'yon, 'di ba? So you
Mm,
have all of the things na that would make you successful in this and
yeah,
effective, not just successful
yeah.
and also mas importante yung effective, 'di ba? And well, your followers show that and yeah, so that's why I'm really glad there are people like you who
Thank you
yeah.
very much.
And well, not that there's none, meron namang iba, 'di ba? Pero
Yeah,
you have a very unique way of presenting it. And yeah, I appreciate it na may mga natututo, 'di ba? And you
yeah,
mhm,
totally. Totally. And it makes me very happy when people say that they picked up something that day. You know,
mhm,
that for me that's a good thing. Kasi like you said, no, it's something that I picked up early on, and something that I had to train to understand, to get to be able to present and stuff like that.
mhm,
I think that's also a higher purpose for me, to be able to do that, and to be able to provoke thought, or to be able to give new knowledge, and using all of those things to do that. I've never been the guy to pick up on a trend. It's never been me. I
mhm,
don't like it. It's not something that I have ever done in my life. If anything, I'm a very late adapter. I played The Witcher 3, which is my favorite video game
mhm.
of all time. I played The Witcher 3, and I think that was released in 2015. I played it in 2018,
2018.
right? I God of War 2018, I
Mhm,
played it in 2020. So I'm a very late adapter. I don't
mhm.
go unless it's a Marvel movie. But
Yeah.
I don't ever see myself as a person. I have to know, I have to do this, I have to do that.
Mhm,
It's not a priority. I'd rather let it sink in first, and then be like, I'll do it in my own time. I'm I'm yung na-process ko na siya. so that when I say it, it's crystallized, may laman siya and may
Mhm.
pinanggagalingan siya. So that's how I
Yeah,
approach things.
you
Yeah.
don't kumbaga you don't feel the pressure of parang
Yeah.
what's trending
Yeah.
ganun. Well,
Mm-mm.
it also comes in handy kasi after like what you said, it will also apply into, let's say, current events na parang okay, there's something,
Mm.
merong bagong news na breaking news, 'di ba? And then
Mm.
makikita mo yung mga YouTubers parang gagawa agad.
Mm.
Unahan sila eh. Kasi
Yeah.
since it's breaking news,
Yeah.
it's hot in the
Mm.
algorithm. So they're
Mm.
after the views and
Yeah.
they
And
just
you
spew
know what?
out. Mhm.
To be honest, I've done that too, right? I've
Mhm.
done that too. But it's never an analysis,
Oo.
right? I don't try to analyze anything. I just present what's been presented. And
Oo.
I just gather what's been
Mhm.
reported and then I present it.
Mhm.
That's all I want to do. I don't try to analyze because again, I'm operating under that idea that I don't know anything
Oo
yet.
nga eh, 'di ba?
And I
So
cannot claim to know anything if I don't know the full story. If it's a
yes.
developing story, I don't know anything. So why will I ever assume that I know something if I don't know it? 'Di ba? So
Yeah.
it's this it's for me it's that. And
Yeah.
it's not really about the views, but more for the awareness. If it gets a lot of views, great. If it doesn't
Mhm.
get views, it's fine. It's okay. I'll make another video. I'll make the next video. It's just getting it out there. It's also a very helpful outlet for me. At saka madaldal ako eh. So I just wanna
Oh.
talk. that's, that's the thing.
Yeah, well, I totally get that, 'di ba? So, it's madami kasi mga content creators who go beyond, 'di ba? Just keep on, just assume things, and then eventually they get burned, 'di ba? Kasi premature pa yung mga pinagsasabi nila, and so yun. Ano bang pwede pa natin pag-usapan? Speaking of kasi one of the videos that I saw, your videos that I saw recently was about the James Webb
Space telescope.
photos.
Yeah.
Yes, 'di ba?
Yeah.
So it's it, you it seems like you geek out on a lot of different things, 'di
I
ba?
do. I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing as I am, 'di ba? Parang, and
Mm.
to me kasi space and the universe is one of that.
Yeah.
Kasi not just the physicality of it, not just the
Yeah.
physics, not just, it's also the philosophical aspect of the universe that
Oh
also
yeah.
gets me, 'di ba? It's
Yeah.
so 'di ba? To some
We
people kasi
can't
parang
comprehend it.
yeah.
There's no way the human brain can comprehend the universe.
Mhm.
It's literally impossible, literally and figuratively impossible. It's so
Yeah.
vast that for us to be able to understand, it's beyond us.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally.
And now we are literally taking peeks out of the images from the
I
edges of
know.
the universe, and we
I
don't
know.
even know if there's something else beyond those, diba?
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
how does the universe make you feel, the vastness and the finiteness of our ability to comprehend it.
I love that. Okay. I made this video right after I made
Mhm.
the first video I created for the JWST. And I said we are nothing and at the same time we are everything. Um in the vast expanse of the universe, we are nothing. We are a speck of dust.
Yes.
Probably even smaller, right?
Yes.
As a human being compared to how vast and it's still expanding,
Mhm.
how vast the universe is. But at the same time, the stuff that makes us up, the literal things that make us up, carbon and all these other
Mm-mm.
molecules and atoms that are in our bodies, they are the same star stuff. They are the
Yes.
same stuff that makes up the stars and makes up the universe. So we are made of everything,
Mhm.
right? Of the same thing that makes up everything. So I am nothing, and at the same time, I'm everything. That's how it makes me feel. That it's such it's humbling.
Yeah.
It's humbling
Hum-
to live as a human being.
Humbling and profound, 'di ba?
Absolutely,
It's so
absolutely
profound
profound.
kasi
Yeah.
it's what I heard parang from, I don't know if it's from Neil deGrasse Tyson or Neil deGrasse Tyson repeating
Mm.
Sagan.
Yeah.
It's a parang it goes the universe. We are the universe's way of learning about itself.
Yes,
Something like
yes.
that,
I
diba?
think it's. I'm not sure if I'm not sure. I think it's Sagan, but yeah,
Oo.
it's. We are the universe discovering itself, something like that.
Oh, di
You
ba?
know, it's true. It's absolutely true.
And it's di ba parang it's a the universe is I don't even know what to call it. Is it a place? It is an entity? Is it
It.
di ba? Is
Yeah,
it
it's an it. That's
matter?
it.
Oh,
It
di ba?
literally is it. It's everything. Every single thing is the
'Di ba?
universe.
Tapos meron siyang way para alamin kung sino siya. 'Di ba?
Yeah,
As if it is purposely trying to do so. Na
yeah.
parang wow.
It's
What ano
fascinating,
'di ba? It's
really.
so
And that's the thing. That's I guess that's also the beauty of it, and it's also the frustrating thing, the finiteness of being. You will
mm-hmm.
never fully understand. You can spend lifetimes and lifetimes on this planet and still never fully understand the universe. And that's just it. There is something beyond us. It is beyond us. But at the same time, we were given all these gifts, these sentient gifts that we have because of it. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
fascinating.
and also as a species, we are just starting out, 'di ba? Na parang
Mhm.
as impressive as the modern
Mhm.
technology that
We're
we have
toddlers.
now, 'di
Yeah.
ba?
Yeah.
In the grand scope of things, we are parang not even trying, parang just barely learning how to walk siguro, 'di ba?
Yeah.
And
Toddler.
oh yeah,
Absolutely.
toddler. So while kasi I don't know how many millions of years or may millions of years na bang Homo sapiens?
Sorry, Homo sapiens.
Yeah.
I think
Uh,
Homo sapiens have been around for like 12,000 years exact. There's
oh,
something
something like that.
around.
Well,
Yeah.
civilization ganun. Pero yung
Yeah.
let's say 1 million. We'll just look it up
That's not that bad.
later, 'di ba?
Mhm.
Pero if you compare, my point is if you compare it to other species like some of the dinosaurs,
Yeah.
cockroaches, crocodiles, they've been around for hundreds of millions, mga 10
Yeah.
million years yung kanilang
Mhm.
species that
Mhm.
roam the earth. And now, baka makaka 1 million years man lang ba tayo? Parang
Yeah.
parang it's already so unimaginable uh even us being us already, 'di ba? Hindi pa
Yeah.
natin masyadong maano mag-grasp the possibilities that could happen,
Yeah.
'di
Just
ba?
imagine, we've developed most of human technology in what, the last 400, 500 years,
Mhm.
right? It's like when you were a kid in the 90s, for example, you never ever thought that you'd be doing things on your smartphone like banking, right?
Yeah.
I never thought that. So it's already difficult for somebody in the 90s to see what the future would look like, right? What more, just the next 100 years, 2100, the year 2100, what is that even going to look like? We don't know,
Mhm.
right? We don't know. And that's the thing. If we can't even predict what it can look like, what more, right? What more millions of years from now? There's just no way of completely knowing. And that's the finiteness of being
Yeah.
and living as a human civilization.
Uh and it's also minsan parang we don't even know if we're even gonna make it, 'di ba? For all we know, we destroy ourselves in the next decade
If
or
we
so.
keep doing what we're doing, then yes,
'Di ba?
absolutely, we're not
It's
gonna make it.
sobrang can you just imagine the waste of potential that would be, 'di ba? How
Yeah,
frustrated the universe would be if this organism it produced to know itself just
yeah,
failed like that.
yeah.
what
It's
a what a letdown.
And the letdown is always going to happen because of hubris. That's it. That's really just it. Because some people can't accept the fact that, for example, they won't be in charge or they're not the most powerful people. It's hubris. That's what's going to make it happen.
Yeah. well, the thing is, the universe can always try and try again, diba? We are not
Mm.
really parang, I don't know, maybe the rabbits can do it. Maybe
Yeah.
the dolphins, diba?
Yeah.
After we're gone, diba? Or the
Yeah.
octopuses, diba? Maybe they would
Yeah.
have a better grasp of things and
Yeah.
do a little bit better than the
Magaling kasi
monkeys.
tayo. Ang magaling kasi, ang nangyari kasi sa humans, sa Homo sapiens, we
Mm.
became the dominant species because we can organize in large groups,
Yeah.
right? And we could organize in large groups, and at the same time, we believe in, and this is my favorite book right now. It's called *Sapiens* by Yuval Noah Harari.
Mm-hmm.
We have the ability to believe in fictions,
Ah,
and
yeah. Okay.
that gives us order. Law, law is a fiction. Law, you can't find law in nature. It's just an agreement among people, right?
Yeah.
Religion.
Mm-hmm.
Religion is another it's things that you cannot prove with your senses,
Mm-hmm.
right? You cannot touch, see, hear, nor smell. Yet we believe it. Concept of corporations. Toyota, right? If a hunk of metal is worth something because of fiction, because we believe that, we agree as a society that it is worth so and so pesos or worth so and so dollars.
Yeah.
So that's how we're able to progress, go
Mm-hmm.
forward as a species. So yeah.
Well, that's a good point, di ba?
Mm.
Everything is just an agreed upon thing
Mhm.
by us and collective, at least a significant portion of a group of people. Kasi
Yep.
even that, kasi not every country, not every kind of people,
Mhm.
magkakaibang religions, magkakaibang ideologies ng
Mhm.
bansa, di ba?
Mhm.
So, what other do you always really read stuff ganyan?
Not as much as I want to.
Oo nga, ano?
Mostly, kasi well, life. But if I'm not reading or playing video games, I'm also learning a lot from video games. I love the Assassin's Creed series. Yeah, I
Oo nga,
learn a
no?
lot from the video games. Pero I also watch a lot of documentaries about
Yeah.
history. Those are, yeah, curiosity stream, yay, worth it.
Yes.
Also the legit,
Podcasts. Mm-hmm.
yeah, absolute podcasts. When I work out, when I jog, when I drive, I always have a podcast on
Mm-hmm.
these days. I started doing that like 6 months ago maybe,
Mm-hmm.
and I never looked back. I will never ever do anything ever again
Yeah.
other than listening to a podcast while working out. It also makes me perform better
Oo
because
nga, no?
it makes
Mm-hmm.
me forget Alam mo yun, parang it makes me forget na parang this is, of course, you still have to focus. I
Mm-hmm.
need to pause it if I need to like focus on something heavy. But
Mm-hmm.
when you're, for example, doing warm up work or cardio work,
Mm-hmm.
you're listening to it, but then at the same time your body's working. So it's a very very important discovery for me,
Yeah.
podcasts. So yeah, I listen to a lot of history podcasts, a lot of podcasts that just geek out over things.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's mostly what I do. If I have to do research, I scour the internet for
Mm-hmm.
legitimate sources. That's what I do when I'm not playing video games or
Yeah.
watching K-drama.
Yung
Yeah.
ang isa pang use ng podcast, it's a way better thing to look at than or listen to than the actual time, 'di ba? Na parang wait,
Yeah.
5 minutes, 30 minutes kang let's say treadmill, 'di ba? So
Yeah.
magte-treadmill
Oh,
ka
it's
instead.
much better. Oh my God,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Sometimes 40 minutes na pala nakakaraan, tumatakbo pa rin ako. Parang, "Whoa, how did I do that?" So,
oo nga
it's
eh, 'di ba?
yeah.
And also parang when you play the video kasi parang or the audio, 'di ba? May nakalagay
Yeah,
yung timestamp doon eh. Let's say that's
yeah.
1 hour,
It
'di ba? So
yeah.
you alam ko 1 hour na 'yon, 'di ba?
It conditions your mind also. So when you listen to a podcast, you just forget about everything. You play it, you put it in your pocket, and it just plays. So I love that.
So, you also podcast, right? So
Hmm.
what do you talk about in your podcast?
I've I've only really had 2 episodes.
Mhm.
Only because life is happening around me.
Ah,
It is it's just not one of the things na I can focus on at the moment. But podcast. I do have a podcast. It's called Boom Now We Know,
Boom now. Uh-huh.
on Spotify, and it's a podcast where I share my thoughts, but at the same time, it's just things that, hey, I didn't know. Did you know this?
Mm-hmm.
Let's learn it together. That's the whole idea of the podcast, and it's I don't have any episodes yet where I interview people, but
Mm-hmm.
one day I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's podcasting is so much fun.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's
It's
so much fun.
I have no kumbaga I have no plans of stopping. I sometimes
Yeah.
there are times na just recently kasi kakabalik ko lang nung sa podcasting. I get derailed sometimes but I don't think I'll ever stop, 'di ba? Uh
Yeah, it's a great outlet
mhm.
for ideas, and sometimes you pick up ideas there. 'Di ba? Na
Yes.
parang, oh nga no. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
you pick up new concepts, new ideas, and then you start to explore, and then your curiosity goes, and yada over and over again. It's a cycle. It's just a brilliant
Mm-mm.
invention of man. I love podcasts.
You like obviously when people look in your TikTok account
Mm.
makikita na madaming mga trivias yung i-boom now you
Mm-hmm.
know
Mm-hmm.
series
Mm-hmm.
that you're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, well may mga tao kasi na ano parehas kasi tayo syempre ano mahilig sa mga trivias, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Pero do you think mahilig well, I think mahilig naman ng mga Pilipino sa trivia or
Oh
people
yeah.
generally, no, 'di ba?
Remember in the 2000s, remember in the 2000s we had Game Kanaba and
Mm.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire
Mm.
and Weakest Link. We had these things, and there's something about learning trivia that releases something in your brain. I listened to it in a podcast as well.
Mhm.
Um it's about Ken Jennings, who is like the record holder for the longest streak on Jeopardy,
Uh-huh.
and they had this episode about him where they're talking about this board game called Trivial Pursuit, which is the most popular board game for trivia. So I mean, there's something about remembering a tidbit of knowledge that you used to know that you tucked away at the back of your head, right, in the back of your brain, and then you just I know that, and then you just answer it. There is some chemical that is released when that happens. So it always feels good to find out something new or something that ganun pala yun, or like yung pala yung tawag doon, or
Mm.
that's the germ that kind of made the content that I'm making.
Mhm.
It's what would make me fascinated about learning something. For example, if I learned that medyo spoiler to, why the
Oo.
marathon is called the marathon, for example,
Mm.
it's a hey, that's why, and
Oo.
it's not like lalabas siya sa quiz mo or anything. It's not that's not what it's about. It's just having new knowledge. There's always something that's released in your brain and you just love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's mundane or something parang wow, ganun pala 'yon. Uh,
Yeah.
ang isang trivia, I don't know if it's like mind blown trivia na nga siguro to. Yung
Mm.
mind blowing na trivia na narinig ko was from Neil deGrasse Tyson din. Um, saying na actually it's a trivia and a realization na parang how do I even word this? So the distance of the sun and the moon is proportional uh, in relative to the earth. The
Mm.
distance of the
Mm.
sun and the moon relative relative to the earth is proportional to their sizes. So ang epekto nito is it makes it possible to cover for the during eclipses for the moon to cover the sun completely. Kasi
Mm.
the sun is way larger than the moon, 'di ba? Pero dahil
Yeah.
they are proportionally coherent dun sa sinabi ko nga kanina, it's
Sa distances nila. Yeah.
oh, 'di ba? So it's
Yeah.
the moon is not too large na hindi mo makikita yung corona pag nagkaroon ng
Mm.
ng eclipse, and the sun is makikita hindi siya isang parang dot lang doon
Mm.
sa doon
Galing. It's a
sa 'di ba?
miracle.
'Di ba?
If you
So
think about it, yeah,
yeah,
perfect miracle.
and it's also parang what are the chances of that occurring in other solar systems, 'di ba?
Yeah,
Kasi
absolutely.
the moon in Mars, it's not the same anymore. 'Di ba? Mas maliit na yung sun doon,
Mm.
tapos kung may moon ng Mars, hindi na siya covered na siya completely na, alam mo 'yun?
Yeah.
So
Just the
it's
perfect conditions for life. Just everything had to happen perfectly for life to happen. So just thinking about that,
yeah.
that's already wow. That's
Yeah.
insane.
So if you go to another planet and let's say you're doing a science fiction film, 'di ba? Ako kasi comic book artist ako eh.
Mm.
Illustrator. So, 'di ba, parang if you're gonna uh let's say illustrate an eclipse, 'di ba? Wow,
Yeah.
magpareha sila ng ng
Mm.
conditions sa Earth, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Which is a little bit unlikely if
Yeah.
if you think of the
The
probability.
odds, just the odds
Mm.
of it happening, it's very improbable. Yeah.
So what other trivias do you where do you get your sources? Well, where do you get your parang pool na alam mo sa mga
Well,
nakakalap
most
yung mga yan? Mm.
most of the time nakakasana siya sa isip ko eh. Like for example, I during the pandemic I watched the World War II in color and on
Mhm.
Netflix. And then they released another one in 2021. Immediately back then, sabi ko, "Oh, this is good to know. I didn't know this. I didn't know that." Tas nakakasana siya sa isip ko. And then one day, halimbawa, I need a new idea. I go back to the things that I watched. I go back to the things that I listened to on podcasts. And parang if something, pumintig yung tenga ko with something. Like my recent episode about General Tojo's teeth.
Mhm.
I just
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
it.
I saw it.
It's one sentence on a podcast.
Mhm.
And I go, I want to know about this. So I research on it, and I pause the podcast. I research on it, and then I created the content. So it's that like moments that happen like that. That's why it's always handy to write it down. You have to write it down. If it inspires you in that moment, you have to write it down. So yun yung yeah, that's kind of how it happens for me. Something that I just recall, something that I did in a play, for example. I
Mhm.
tackled something in a play way before. Like, oh, yeah, I remember having to say this line. What's so interesting about it again? So I research, and then yeah, it comes out. So it's really a matter of finding inspiration, being open to knowledge and being open to inspiration at any given moment. So that's how it would happen for me most of the time, all the time actually. Yeah.
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 So siguro let's move to another topic, no?
Yeah.
Kasi
Sure.
uh, um how we just finished the election, 'di ba? So
Mm,
so you makikita mo yung mga divisions talaga sa
yeah.
especially on
Yeah.
TikTok, 'di ba? Lahat na lang talagang
Oh yeah.
when you create content for either side, 'di ba? It's
Mm.
ano yung mga supporters talaga hindi how was your experience creating these political comments on TikTok?
This is a great question.
Uh,
If you look at my TikTok,
mhm.
around the time of the elections,
Mhm.
around the campaign period,
Mhm.
I never once created content that directly really talks about the elections.
Mhm.
I create content that for about history
Mhm.
that maybe we can learn something from it.
Yes.
And people, because that's what history is about. It is not chismis. It is about, history is about learning from the past so that your future can be guided, right? So that you don't repeat the same mistakes
Mhm.
as yesterday. So I would make content about that. I most notably about the Civil War. I created content about the Civil War, and for some reason, people always assume that it's about the elections. So they
Mhm.
start thinking it's about being partisan. It's about being, and I don't say anything. I let people talk to each other
Yeah.
because for me, I would as much as I would love healthy discourse, you only get healthy discourse by practicing healthy discourse. But
True.
discourse is needed for
Mhm.
society to function. If you want to be, like you said a while ago, if you want to be an intellectual, you have to be open to discourse. So I do not engage. I don't say anything. I just ask questions. That's what I do. So whenever I create content, it provokes thought. That's the point of why I created that content. It's not about this is what you should do. This is
Oh.
what you should think. This is how you should. I'm just telling you that this is what happened in the past, and these were the results of of that event in the past. It's up to you whether you want to learn from it or you want to go la 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 la. It's up to you.
Yes.
That's
Very
how I
very
create.
well said. Very well said.
Yeah.
Kumbaga ang nagiging problema lang diyan kasi is there are people who are just not prepared to accept or to learn, 'di ba? To open their minds. Kasi
Yep.
it's a different thing to hear and to listen. 'Di ba? Na
Yes.
there are people who can just parang you can talk all day, and if you are not prepared or not equipped either or to comprehend, but not because they're stupid, because kasi
Yeah.
I really don't believe that the Filipino people are stupid, 'di ba? It's
Yeah.
ano siya, parang I don't know if there's anything about our culture that rejects, that makes us reject, parang like yung sinasabi ko nga kanina na parang we are too may stigma na ma-brand ka na, seryoso ka naman, masyado ka namang ano,
Yeah.
'di ba?
Uh-uh.
Parang ba't ba naman masyadong seryosohin, 'di ba? Parang bakit? May mga tao, may mga bagay na kailangan seryosohin, and you can say it in a manner na seryoso and still, well, in case dito sa media, mga katulad na ginagawa natin is still entertaining but still not lose an ounce of the message that you're trying to
Yeah.
give.
No, that's the thing, you know. You that's what I was saying then kanina, na parang you have to know your audience, you have to,
Mhm.
it cannot be so today we're going to talk about the Civil War, and in the
Mm.
Civil War, you know, it's a very very different take when, you know, it's also my face, and it's my branding, it's my personality. That's really, I don't hide who I am. That's really who I am. That's
Mm.
how I talk. So it's a matter of using that, and at the same time being able to impart knowledge, impart information. So in terms of, geez, politics, not only in the Philippines, anywhere in the world, in terms of politics anywhere in the world, you were right. You know, people will not learn unless they want to learn.
Mhm.
People will not listen unless, you know, they let go of that thing in their head that's saying my tribe won't accept me anymore if I turn away from this belief.
Mhm.
Because that's it. As social beings, humans are afraid to be outside of the social norm, right? And the social
Yes.
norm is, oh, here we are going to vote for this person. If tumaliwas ka doon, wala kang kwenta.
Yeah.
So
Uh
it's
mhm.
that. Yeah.
Ang isang thing ko, another thing that I also have talked about in this podcast. I actually had a long conversation about this with an anthropologist last
Mm-hmm.
weekend with Dr. Castro, Nestor Castro. Ang ganda
Mm.
nung mga usapan namin, very enlightening yung mga shinare niya doon. Pero I would like to ask you din siguro yung tawag dito. Ah, teka. Ano ba yun? Teka. Okay, so meron kasi akong parang question that I ask to my guests na I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Maybe I can collate it and do a special playlist for the answers that I get,
Mm-hmm.
'di ba? So the question is, I know kasi that you've been involved in the Lenny campaign din, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some of your videos there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's ang question ko is kasi well, to other viewers, I also invite different people, not just Lenny supporters, not just
Of course.
BBM, diba? So
Mm-hmm.
I invite everyone. So wait for the other the other guest for other answers. Kasi this is just a question kasi na parang lingering na parang
Mm.
mystery to a lot of Filipinos na parang despite everything that's been said and done with the Marcoses and like I said kanina, it's I do not believe that the Filipino people are stupid, that we are alam mo
Mm.
yun, bobo lang talaga, 'di ba? Parang despite
Yeah.
everything that was said, the accusations and the cases, 'di ba? And
Yeah.
the history, why do you think the Filipino people still voted for BBM?
You know, that is something that I am still asking myself, to be
Oo nga,
honest.
'di ba?
It's something that I'm still asking myself, and I still, I will say this over and over again. I don't think people are inherently stupid. That's it.
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't believe that. Actually, the reason for the rift is because a lot of people seem to assume that the other side is always stupid.
Oo
That's
nga
why
eh, 'di ba?
nobody listens to anybody anymore.
Mhm.
People are just using their voices in very, 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 very loudly that you cannot hear above the noise,
Mhm.
right? So, if off the top of my head,
Mhm.
there is something about name recall.
Name
It's a very Filipino thing to do name recall.
Mhm.
It's also a very Filipino thing to try and side with an underdog. It's the whole idea of this person was wronged, so we need to redeem this person, help redeem this person.
Mhm.
So it's just it's that sentimentality attached to that,
Mhm.
to this whole idea that maybe this person is misunderstood. Maybe this family is just, they're the victims here. And a lot of people bought into that idea. And because they did, and because of the soap operas that we watched growing up, the soap operas that happen every afternoon.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So, yeah, actually yeah, it makes sense.
culture has a
Parang
lot to do with it. Yeah, culture has
culture,
a lot.
well,
Yeah,
culture definitely dictates politics. So
absolutely.
if we want to change our politics, we need to change the culture in what we like and what we consume, 'di ba? That's
Yeah.
we that's prevalent in the US and the other western countries, 'di ba? Parang what kung ano yung, and then now they're trying to change the culture. Kaya nga culture wars yung tawag dun sa mga ano eh, sa mga
Yeah.
those who are uh well, nagba-back and forth kasi yan, 'di ba? Dati kasi nagkaroon ng culture war and then ngayon nagkakaroon ulit,
Mm.
nagre-resist. So yeah, so parang media, not just media in terms of the news, but fiction media, 'di ba? Could
Yeah,
also be the fiction we consume. All,
absolutely.
is also may also be a part of that.
Absolutely. Because
Interesting.
you will never be able to take out emotional decision making.
Mm-hmm.
We are very emotional decision makers, not as Filipinos, but as species. We are very emotional decision makers. We don't make decisions based on numbers alone.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do that. It we especially in the culture of the Philippines also, where you have guilt culture, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
Lagi utang na loob kay ganito, utang na loob kay ganyan, nakakahiya kay ganito, nakakahiya kay ganyan. It is something that can be exploited. It is
Mm-hmm.
something that can be manipulated as well, not just by them, but any politician who wants to do that. Anybody, anybody can do that. It's as long as we are not willing to question our assumptions, it's not going to change. As long as we are not willing to admit that maybe we can be wrong about something, that's never going to happen. We have to be prepared to sit down and say, okay, how do we take back our thinking? How do we take back, just assessing things not in an emotional manner? How do we do that?
Yeah.
And it's all about having a conversation without trying to kill the other person.
Yeah. And I don't think there's enough warriors who are fighting that fight right now here in the Philippines, diba? Parang
Yeah, it fatigue. That's one I know. I've felt it. There's one that's a factor. Fatigue is definitely a factor, and two, kulang talaga. There, and three, life. Other people still have lives to live. Diba? At the end of the day, we still have lives to live. So it all has to happen at the same time. All these things are simultaneously happening. So you gotta pick your battles. You gotta pick when to say something. You gotta pick when to impart something. So yeah.
yeah. So I think we've all heard this before na parang there is a siguro conspiracy level na to na ano it could be true na or it might just be parang parang result na pinabayaan lang nila kasi it's favorable to, let's say, politicians, 'di ba? Na parang let's keep the population dumb, 'di ba? Let's just give them enough to survive, 'di ba? So
And that's why I'm on TikTok.
yeah, so therefore,
That's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
yeah, so
I want to be able to help uh people to just think. Just think. Not it's not about being smart. It's just about slow down, don't react yet.
mhm.
Think. Listen first. 'Di ba? Pakinggan mo muna, namnamin mo muna, tsaka ka magsalita. Because that's what's happening. We react. We see something, we react.
Yes.
Even Facebook, you have react buttons on Facebook.
Mhm.
Nobody ever just sits down, looks at what's happening, looks at the other side, and goes, okay, so that's actually what's happening.
Mhm.
Everybody is just, and the worst thing is, algorithms are only making you hear one side of the story all the
Yes.
freaking time. So that's my beef with social media,
Mhm.
right? It's like your algorithms are dividing people further and further.
Driving you
So
crazy. 'Di ba?
exactly. So it's about, if you want to mediate something, you have to be able to, like what a lot of people say, you have to be able to hear both sides. And from hearing both sides, create an informed opinion. Not just an opinion, an informed opinion. Yun yung hindi nangyayari. So it's just a matter of mas matalino ako sa'yo, mas magaling ako sa'yo, sabi ni ganito, ganyan, mas maniniwala ako kay ganito kaysa ganyan. So it is about ego. It becomes
Mhm.
about, I'm a better person than you, instead of, this is the information I know, that's the information you know. Okay, let's look at the information and compare it with each other. Because again, nobody wants to do that. Why? Because it's slow.
Yes.
It's slow, it's painstaking,
It's hard
but
work.
if exactly, if that's what it takes, if the meeting of the minds is what it takes, we have to do it. We
Yeah.
have to do it. That's why, honestly, after the election, Gerald,
Mhm.
I got exhausted. Really, I got exhausted. Not only from the campaigning, but just the emotional turmoil of
Mhm.
of of all the news that was happening. Not just the election news. That
Yeah.
hurts, diba? So it's
Inflation.
all these things, diba? It's ang
Mhm.
bigat-bigat, binubuhat mo siya lahat. So I really just had to stay off. But I'm also one of those people that I know I fought for what I believed in.
Mhm.
And now, okay, democracy, the people have spoken. I will watch.
Yeah. Well,
That's what I'll do.
that's what I like about your
Yeah.
content din kasi it's well, it's clear that you kasi everybody has we all have our own biases, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
And people know, those who follow you know na kung sino yung sinuportahan mo, but still
Yeah.
you don't resort to yung bashing at saka yung ang masakit kasi yung ano yung belittling, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Yun yung nakakasakit talaga na parang
Yeah.
at saka pinaka hindi productive na
Yeah.
na aspeto na sa mga nangyari. Belittling
That's the word.
people, 'di
Yeah.
ba? Just because
Productive. Yeah.
yes, just because you have a different opinion. Well, kasi the thing with opinion is may mga that's ang tinatanong ko kasi is dun sa question ko about the Marcoses. It's um ang isang assumption kasi na naririnig ko is parang yung alam mo naman kasi na magnanakaw 'yan, 'di ba? Bakit? Parang yung iba naman, I think yung iba is alam na din naman nila 'yun eh. Kasi ako, I grew up, my earliest political memory, a memory related to politics is the EDSA revolution, 'di
Of
ba?
course,
'Di
yeah,
ba? So
yeah.
that's naalala ko 'yun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I basically grew up na learning about yun nga yung mga ginawa, 'di ba? Yung mga paghahabol
Mm-hmm.
sa mga ninakaw, mga ganyan. And I believe
Mm-hmm.
it. I believe it. And I wouldn't doubt that not probably most if not all of my mga ka-generation ko
Yeah.
also have heard it, 'di ba?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the thing is parang they voted despite, 'di ba? Despite
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
despite knowing all those, kasi parang there is a narrative na hindi mo kasi alam, 'di ba? Parang hindi alam ko pero iboboto ko pa rin. Yun yung nakakaano, 'di ba? Yun yung nakaka
Yeah. That's what makes you want to pull your hair out. I
'di
am
ba?
with you. I am with you. But alam mo, again, I will say this. You know,
Mm.
the reason why I don't bash people who comment,
Mm.
the reason why I don't engage or denigrate myself to that level,
Mm.
is because at the end of the day, if a person wants to learn,
Mhm.
the first thing a person wants to learn, the first thing they will do is to ask a question.
Yeah.
It's the first thing. If this person immediately attacks you,
Mm.
you already know that's not going to be worth your time,
Yes.
right? So I have life to live, So I
True.
would rather, diba? So alimbawa, somebody comments like that, I only do three things. One, ignore.
Mhm.
Two, block pag sobrang threatening.
Mm.
And three, my favorite of all,
What?
delete their comments. That's my
May
favorite.
ano ba?
If
May
it's ano
uh-huh.
if it's very offensive,
Mm.
not just to me, but to, especially for example, if it's an offensive comment to somebody who already commented,
Mm.
right? Tatawagin nilang names yung nanay, yung tatay,
Oo.
mamatay na daw sila, I delete those comments.
Mm.
And then I block that person. So they never see that I deleted their comments. I do that because it's a way to starve a troll. That's just, it's something that you kind of just learn, and we all have different ways of battling
Yeah.
these things, and that's just my way to do it. But the others who actually are curious, want to know something, I answer, I engage,
Yeah.
always respectfully as much as I can.
Well, just to clarify lang yung sinabi ko, parang it's baffling to me. That's why I asked the question, 'di ba?
Mm.
And kasi what if there are answers na hindi ko nare-realize, 'di ba? Kasi
Yeah.
I don't
Mhm.
believe na nga na bobo ka eh, 'di ba? Kasi pero hindi ko naiintindihan. So I asked this question. So I am very yung mga pro BBM na alam ko na naka line up for the show is parang I am looking forward to hearing their answers actually.
Yeah.
And kasi instead na yung sinabi mo kanina na manghula tayo and make assumptions, then let's ask the question, di ba? So
Yeah.
anyway,
You're yeah.
so watch out for those siguro.
I
And
will.
anyway, so siguro before I let you go kasi you have something else that you're about to do for
Mhm. Mhm.
it's about may iba ka pang task before. So let's just ask a few things about mas light naman yung mga pop culture naman, the things that you geek
Sure.
out on. What's your latest geek binge?
Oh, I watched Tokyo Vice on HBO Go. You should check it out. I love
Tokyo
that show. It's
Vice.
Tokyo Vice. It's Ansel Elgort, as in Baby Driver,
Mm-hmm.
and Ken Watanabe, as in Ken
Oh.
Watanabe. And it's about a white journalist who became a part of a Japanese newspaper in the late 90s, and they're talking about the Yakuza. And it's basically culture shock for him. Parang, I have to report about the Yakuza, but the Japanese, they don't want me to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I love stuff like that. That's very cool.
Yeah.
And there's something also that I've watched over and over again. It's for me the greatest documentary ever made. It's The Last Dance, about the Chicago
Oh,
Bulls
the
and Michael
Chicago
Jordan.
Bulls.
on Netflix. I think it's how documentaries. It's the barometer for documentaries,
Mm.
and of course, your Marvel movies and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I've been geeking out on. And K drama, I'm a very big fan of K
K-drama.
drama
Okay.
and K-pop. So yeah, that's what I geek out on.
K-pop. Alam mo,
Yeah.
ang isang binibinge ko ngayon is one of the most parang one thing that I never really thought I'd do. But, yeah, I watch Kumu. May mga friends ako sa Kumu na mga Gen
Yeah,
Z.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
shout out sa mga Kumu friends ko dyan. So, K Jacint. And we actually, kasi ako, I like K-pop, K-drama, konti pa lang, yung mga Netflix K-dramas pa lang
Yeah.
napapanood ko. Pero yung K-pop, syempre, it's inescapable right now these days, di ba?
It's everywhere.
So,
Yes. It is
so,
everywhere.
and there was a few years ago, I was a huge fan of Momoland. Pero yun lang.
Oh, nice.
Momoland kasi meron akong friend na this is the most unassuming person, K-pop
Yeah.
fan na you will ever meet. He
Yeah.
used to be yung punk yung
Yeah, with the
nag-spray na
mohawk. Yeah,
talaga,
yeah,
diba?
yeah, yeah.
Ganon siya. He's vegan.
Awesome.
He's
Yeah.
vegan. He's tapos
That's awesome.
sobrang captivated siya ng K-pop to the point na even though he's not rich, he
Yeah.
buys yung mga pailaw na yun. I don't even know what
Light
it's called.
sticks. Yeah,
Light
light
sticks.
sticks. They're
Di ba
called
may
light
mga
sticks.
ganon siya? Eh di ba mahal
Yeah,
nun?
yeah.
Di ba? Tapos
Yeah, totally.
he was crazy about Momoland, so kaya ako siya oo.
Influenced by friends.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
I love it.
the thing about Momoland and I assume other K-pop groups is dati kasi nag-video siya ng parang dance cover, green screen ko siya doon sa sumasayaw na Momoland. so we did several takes of that. And syempre several takes parang paulit-ulit kong naririnig yung kanta,
Yeah.
'di ba? So after he left, pinapakinggan
Yeah.
ko na rin.
Yeah.
And it's so mesmerizing.
Yeah. It's
so
a science of
mesmerizing.
earworms. It's brilliant. You don't understand the language, diba?
Yeah.
But it's there. It leaves a mark. So that's the brilliant thing about it.
And also the dances, 'di ba?
Oh,
Parang,
yeah.
wow, it's parang kang hini-hypnotize eh.
As
So,
an artist myself, that's the thing I appreciate the most. Of course, it's the creativity, and it's never just about singing, dancing, or whatever. It's a complete package. It's
Yes.
everything. The videos are shot well, the presentation, the promotion. It's always well thought of, and it's just the peak of music production right now. I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry to all the Western artists, but the Korean artists are just way
they're the shit
ahead
right
when it
now.
comes to innovating.
Oo.
They're innovating something. They have a lot of different innovations in terms of music, producing music and promoting music. So it's crazy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also the dances is part of the thing of
The
'di ba?
performance, yeah.
You
There
can
are some K-pop songs that you don't necessarily like, but then when you see the dancing, you're like, oh,
yeah.
so that's what it was going for. So yeah, totally, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and it's also you can do the dance and na, ay, yan yung sayaw sa let's say
Yeah.
boom boom, 'di ba? Boom boom yan.
Yeah.
Diba? Alam mo.
It's an extra connection that you have with your fans. If you're the K-pop artist, like the fans are, and also again TikTok, they do the dance challenges.
Mhm.
It's that extra connection to your fans. It's
Yes.
just brilliant.
Isa pang thing about so basically they formulated this I don't know if it's by accident siguro parang nakita it works, ganda yung recognizable yung I don't know how much is really parang planned pero whatever happened, we have this product na yung
Yeah.
commodity ngayon which is
Yeah.
K-pop, a phenomenon,
Absolutely.
a modern day phenomenon that's matindi talaga eh, 'di ba?
Sobra. It's the definition of innovating music right now. Really, there is no other country that is innovating music as much as they are. So yes, definitely.
And now we're trying to catch up, 'di ba?
Yeah. Yeah.
Frustrates me a little kasi we used to ano eh, parang no, back in the 90s or mga
Oh,
even in
yeah.
the 2000s parang mga
Mm.
Filipinos are the best
Yeah.
singers in the world.
Yeah.
You're the best. 'Di ba? May mga ganung
Although
ano eh.
I have huge hope for OPM right now. We have a
Mhm.
very good OPM scene at the moment. Actually,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. It's very exciting also, and P-pop also is on the rise. You know,
Yes. Mhm.
it's really impressive. I got to interview Beanie, which is like the girl group,
Oh, yeah.
and they're wonderful. Ang
Really?
galing nila. They're so talented. They're so humble. They're so nice, and you really just see these kids. They're young. They're so
Kids.
young,
Mm-mm.
enjoying, and that's the most important part. You know, that's what makes them connect with fans. It's how much they enjoy what they're doing. You know, and it takes you away from the whole jadedness of older musicians, the
Oo nga.
jadedness of the world, and then you just
Mm.
see, you know, their eyes open to all the possibilities and where they could take this, and they're breaking new ground. It's very fascinating and exciting.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, K-pop is an entirely, it's actually a new invention kasi during the times of the Beatles, 'di ba? We see the pandemonium na nangyari. Pero
Mm.
wala silang mga light sticks, 'di ba?
Oh
Wala silang
yeah.
song chants, 'di ba? So this is
It's a product.
it's
It's really a product all
'di
on its own. It's an
ba?
industry, you know. It's an industry all on its own because it's not just the music. It's the fashion. It's fashion. It's
Yes.
all the peripherals. It's people buy the albums not for the CD.
Yes.
Okay, people, I have
The
one right
booklets.
here. This is
Ayan na, ayan.
BTS,
Okay.
right? I have
Uh-huh.
one right there. I haven't even
Mhm.
opened it. It People buy it not because of the music in it, because you can get that on Spotify.
Mhm.
You get it for the photo cards, for the posters, for the collectibles. So it's really the idea that you enshrine these people,
Mhm.
right, on your shelves,
Mhm.
right? And there's something that you want to aspire being if you're a younger person, diba?
Mhm.
You want to be as cool as these people, but at the same time, they're also very humble. They're also very fascinating as people. So it's that whole package. Yeah, I'm very much deep in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's something about parang you you care about the members, 'di ba?
yeah.
In a really weird way. Well, not weird in as in creepy,
Yeah.
ah. Pero
Yeah, yeah. It's
pero
relatable because they're relatable, you know. And they're kids. They're really kids.
uh,
These people are growing up in the industry, and they don't know what to do when they're just out in public, and you just give them a camera. Most of them should be like, "Oh, so like you make them travel, go somewhere. They've never seen a place, or they've
mhm.
never seen that place. They are clueless. They lose their passports. It happens. So yeah, it's really sorry. I'll just make let my dog go out.
Sure.
So
'Di ba?
yeah,
Mhm.
that's the whole thing about K-pop. Yeah, that I absolutely adore. So yes, that to answer your question, in a very long way, that's what I've been geeking out on. So yeah.
Awesome. So I'm gonna let you go and
Thank you. I enjoyed
yeah.
a lot. Thank you for our conversation. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I hope we can do this again one day. Now, maybe
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
when pag mas free ka na, then
Yeah.
maybe you can
Yeah, I
drop
want
by
to
the
drop by your
studio.
studio. It looks very interesting there. I like it.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
what else? Do you want to say anything last parting words for today?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just follow me on TikTok. It's at Reb Ranger. I'm also on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter at Reb Ranger, and also I have a Facebook page. That's just my name, Reb Atadero.
Right.
And I just want to ask you two things. Number one, support Philippine theater, support Filipino artists.
Mm-hmm.
It really matters. It makes a difference when you do. And number two, stay curious. Just be curious about anything and everything. Ang pagiging matalino, hindi yan sa language lang, hindi yan sa pananamit lang, hindi yan sa look, right? It really just starts with asking questions. Just ask questions. Ask people questions. Yeah, that's it. Stay curious.
Awesome. So Yun, I wouldn't
Thank you.
take
Thank you.
more of your time. You're a
Thank you,
busy
sir.
man, and you are a lot of great things to do. And congratulations
Thank
to
you, sir.
your personal life.
Thank you.
And I suppose that's it.
Thank
All
you, sir.
right.
Thank you very much. The powerful comics man. Thank you very much. You are very powerful indeed. And more power to you. And I cannot wait for your future episodes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Reb. All right. Paalam. Powerful Comics
Bye,
Man
guys.
podcast. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed. Napasarap. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Take care. See you soon. See you soon. Bye. And good luck. Yes, sir. Bye.